For the cheapest Madden coins available, check out my sponsor One Stop Mutt to start building that God Squad you've always wanted today. Use code WAZ to get 15% off your order. What is going on, guys? Wizard of Waz here with another Madden 21 video, and today we're going to go over the basics of chemistries and how to use them on your team in Madden 21. Now, we made a video on this for Madden 20, and it seemed to help a lot of people out because chemistries, how to use them correctly, the best ones, how to boost your player from like a Lamar, like an 89 to a 90, can be a little confusing, especially if you're new to Madden Ultimate Team, or even if you're not. It can still be a very complicated topic, and right now, at the beginning of the year, training is so expensive. Training is what you're going to be using to put your chemistries on your guys, upgrade them and all that, so it's very expensive right now, and it's not really something that you can just tinker around with and play with because it costs a lot of training and therefore coins. So you don't want to go and just go into this not knowing what you're doing, make some upgrades, and then make the upgrades that you don't like personally for your team, and then go back and have to redo it because you're not going to be getting all of your training refunded, and it's just super expensive. So make sure you watch this video if you're not 100% certain on how chemistries work, and hopefully I can help explain a little bit and help you figure out where you want to take your squad. And of course, guys, as always, if y'all do enjoy my videos and my stuff kind of helps you out, or you just enjoy watching it, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like on this video. Hit that bell icon so you can know as soon as my videos come out. Thank y'all so much for the support. We've been doing great at the beginning of Madden 21. We're going to carry this through the year, and just thank y'all so much for watching my stuff. So we're going to jump into my lineup here. We're going to go over the different types of chemistry. So you really have 4 different types. You have your team chemistries, your scheme chemistries, your physical chemistries, and then your coaching chemistry. So we're going to go over all of those here, but you'll notice that I don't have a ton of chemistries on my team yet, and that is because of like what I said at the beginning. It is so expensive right now to put chemistries on everyone. I do have some on my players, so we'll take a look at those. We'll take a look at the ones that I haven't put on my guys yet that are just more expensive, but there are some very good ones. So the first one that I do want to talk about, let's talk about team chemistries first. This is for if you're building your theme team. If you want to do all players from a single team, they actually give each other boosts and everything like that, and these are very useful. And I still have yet to build my theme team. I'm probably going to do Ravens this year, but if you go over here onto the right side of your lineup page in general and go on down to chemistry, you'll see all of the chemistries that you have, and you'll see that I have 13 out of 15 on the Baltimore Ravens, 5 out of 10 on the San Francisco 49ers, blah blah blah, all the way down. So whenever you put a player on your team from a specific team, they will add 1 to this slot. So if you click X on the Baltimore Ravens here, you can see I've got tiers 1 and 2 activated, and then you go all the way down to tier 10, and at tier 10 that requires 50 Baltimore Ravens to get all of these boosts, and you get them on every player that is a Baltimore Ravens player. You don't get them on anyone who's not a Baltimore Ravens. That's just it. So let's go to the Bengals here. This is one that I don't have unlocked at all, and I just want to show you all the stats that you get from each tier. So at tier 1 you get +1 strength, +1 impact blocking. Tier 2 is +1 jump, +1 play rec. Tier 3 is +1 agility and +1 change of direction. Now, change of direction is a new statistic from Madden 20. It's really important for anyone that's going to be out in the open field making moves and stuff. So a lot of skill guys, but linebackers it's very important for. Your DBs very important for. All your offensive guys. But anyway, tier 4, +1 excel, +1 carrying. And then at tier 5, you get the all-important +1 speed and +1 tackling. And then at tier 6, you get another +1 strength, +1 stamina. 7 is +1 throw power, +1 jump. Tier 8, +1 agility, +1 change of direction again. Tier 9 is +1 excel, +1 catch. And tier 10 is +1 speed and +1 awareness. So by the end of it, you can get a lot of these to +2. Not all of them. There are some different ones that are only +1, at least from what I saw. But change of direction, you can get +2, speed +2, acceleration +2. These are some of the more important ones, especially for your skill guys. So you get a lot of good stuff, but it's going to be a long time to get 50. Now, how would you get 50? On the offensive side here, if you were to go through every single position and have all of them beat Ravens players, you actually do have 25 open positions here. So I could make every single one of these people a Raven, and that would give me 25 out of 50. So that would give me halfway, and then everything on the defensive side of the ball also applies. This is a team chemistry, not an offensive defensive chemistry thing. So everyone on the defensive side of the ball also contributes to that. So you can see here I've got Sam Mills, the Mutt Master, Level Master, all that. You can make any team chemistry you want. I actually made him a Raven. That's why he is going towards my Ravens chemistry here. But you can see anyone on the defense also contributes to that overall team chemistry. So the only problem with theme teams at this time of the year is, generally speaking, there's really only a couple of good players on every team. The Ravens are actually, they have the most elites. They don't have the highest elites. I believe that's the Chiefs that have the highest. 49ers have some good one as well. The point is, if you want to build a Giants or a Jets or a Bucks theme team, you could do well with that. It's just going to be a lot harder to get good players at every position until we get further in the year and more teams get more and more players, more and more upgrades, and you can build an actually good team. You can do it. It's just going to be a little bit harder. And if you have a theme team, you see I've got an 82 overall here. This is my no money spent squad. But if I built a Raven squad, like the best one I could probably do, it'd probably be an 80 at best, and that's if I had a lot of coins to get the more expensive guys, which is difficult to do. But it is something to strive for if you want to build a specific theme team for your guys, and like I said, it's probably something I'll do later in the year. But if you go on over to your team strategies here, you've got your head coach, your stadium, and then your light and your dark uniforms and all that stuff. So it's a little bit different this year than it was last year. If we open up John Harbaugh here, who's of course the Ravens coach, you can see that he gets 1 count towards the Ravens overall count. So I had 12 out of 50. If I took this John Harbaugh out of here, I would only have 12 out of 50. So he does count towards, so it makes it a little bit easier to get that. But these other ones that you unlock, and I did unlock one up here just so we could go take a look at it, these are a bit different. These are going to be the ones that we talk about. These are the scheme chemistries, and we won't go over these just now, but they are different chemistries. Now, what I'm not 100% certain of, and I'm not going to spend all this training to unlock and check, I don't know if all these other positions are just more of the go deep, the scheme chemistries. I don't know if you get more like Ravens unlocks in there, or maybe some physical chems. We're going to have to take a look at that as the year goes on, once we're able to unlock these and everything else. But right now, from what I can see, is you do get the single count increase towards your team chemistry, and then you can do a scheme chemistry. I'm not sure about this next one. It might be another Raven, so that's one less Raven that I have to have on my team, which would really help this at this point in the year. But that would cost you, let's see, how much would that cost you to upgrade to? That would cost another 50 training, and then however much it costs to do that, then 250. So it gets very expensive. Like I said, training costs about it's more than 60 coins per training point right now, so it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all, but if you're building strictly a theme team, definitely I would look into upgrading your coach, because you're going to want to do it at some point anyway. Another thing that I want to talk about that I'm not sure of, and then we'll get into the things that I actually do know what I'm talking about, but just wanted to get all this out of the way. The stadiums and the uniforms for your theme team. I have the Ravens stadium here, and you can see it does give me another count towards the Ravens, so that's nice. Just like with Harbaugh, if I took this out, it would bring me down to 12 out of 50 players, so it is nice. It helps you get that little extra count towards your theme team at the beginning of the year. Same thing for the uniforms. If you have a home and away, that's 2. It counts as 2, even though you're only wearing 1 at a time. It does count as 2. But what I don't know about for the stadiums and uniforms is how to actually upgrade them at this time. I don't know if this maybe isn't in the game yet. If somebody does know, feel free to comment down below and let me know. But when you try to upgrade, all it tells you is that it requires a player item. I don't know what this player item is. I don't know if it's something that we're going to get from challenges and all that. But this is something that we don't currently have. At least I don't currently have. In Madden 20, and I did see some of this in the week leading up to release, you would get things like Ravens rush offense, Ravens rush defense, Ravens pass defense, and all that. And you could select all that, and the more components you would get, the more it would boost. Like if you did Ravens rushing, you did 3 or 4 components, that would boost up your Ravens rushing attack. Every Raven on your team would get these boosts to their rushing stats. Same as if you did Ravens passing, Ravens rushing defense, Ravens pass defense. We're going to have to see if it's the same thing as they did in Madden 20 once we figure out what this is. Again, I don't know what this player item is, so I won't go too into depth right now since I don't know all the details for this, but once I do, I will release an updated video, so if y'all want to come back and check that one out once we get a little more details, definitely do so. Alright, so now we can talk a little bit more about what I understand so I can stop just doing a lot of guesswork. If you go to any of your players on offense or defense, regardless, you hit square or X if you're on Xbox on them, and you can upgrade them here. And then if you go to the upgrades, this slot down here is of course your team chemistry, and that's usually already filled in with whatever team they already played for. If they played for multiple teams, you can change it around depending on what team you want. And then you've got 2 other slots here. You've got your scheme chemistry and your physical chemistry. We're going to go over the scheme chemistry first. This is definitely the one that's a little bit more in depth. This is where you can play with your team a lot more. This is really where you can boost your specific players to help them out. So whatever I think is the best chemistry isn't necessarily going to be the best chemistry for you and your players. It's really a team by team thing, but there are some that I believe are superior to others. So let's go ahead and go over them all here. So you can see here these top 6, they all have the ×2 in the bottom right, and these do cost a little. Say they cost 70 training and all that to put on your guy, and that's because I have Lamar at an 87 overall. Down here, these single that don't have the ×2, anybody can get these as long as you have to spend 5 training to unlock the slot, and at that point you can at least put a ×1 even on the lowest players. I'm pretty sure even silvers get this, but probably shouldn't have a lot of silvers on your team anyway. But generally speaking, you can have a ×1, ×2, down at the bottom here is ×3, and then ×4. So ×1, anybody and everybody can have that as long as you spend the 5 training points to unlock that slot for them. ×2 at 87 overall, that is when a player can get a ×2 chemistry on them. At 92 overall, they unlock this ×3 down here, and then at 97 overall, they unlock the ×4. So what I'm talking about with the ×1 and ×2, basically this go deep ×2 counts as 2 towards my go deep chemistry. I like go deep and all that, and we'll go over reasons for that in just a minute. But basically, this gives me a 2 count for that, and that's very useful. So obviously, they get a little more expensive. The times 1 only costs 30, times 2 costs 70, and I don't know. Okay, so times 4 is 500 training, times 3 is 125 training. So those are very expensive, but by that point in the year, the training will be a little bit cheaper, so not quite as bad. But you have 6 different scheme chemistries that you can choose between on offense. Let's just really quickly go over all of them here. The first one is going to be balanced offense, and I'm not going to read all of these statistics off. You can kind of see you got 5 components, 10 components, 15, 20. You can see all these that you get here, 25, all the way down to 50. Now, balanced offense is what a lot of people go for at the beginning of the year because it's very hard to get 50 out of 50 on the other ones because they're a little bit more specialized. We'll talk about that in a minute, but balanced offense, a lot of people do at the beginning of the year because it's easier to get that 50 components. I don't personally like doing that, but a lot of people do that, and I totally understand why. Let's look at power run. Again, not going over all these components. Y'all can look at all these. It's pretty simple to go find and look them up, everything that they boost up. But power run is a very, very good one. And then over here, you've got zone run, which is obviously power run and zone run are going to be the 2 that you choose between for your offensive linemen and your running backs and maybe your tight ends, depending on what you're doing. Let me go all the way down here to the 50 components. And then the next 3 are going to be more for your wide receivers and your quarterback. Play fake, I'm just going to be honest here. Play fake's not a very good one. I wouldn't do play fake. There's some good stuff in here, like it boosts a couple of good things, but the other 2 are so much better. Play fakes are not really the way to go in Madden in general. I do them sometimes, but I don't like them, and most people don't like them very often, and most people will recommend you not do them. So I would steer clear of play fake. The 2 that you're going to want to choose between for your quarterbacks and your wide receivers is West Coast and go deep. And I did choose go deep, and that's pretty much just because you get more throw power. And Lamar Jackson, one of Lamar Jackson's biggest issues is he doesn't have the best throw power, and I think you get 3 or 4 boosts to throw power if you get it all the way up to 50, which getting it up to 50 out of 50 components is pretty much impossible right now until you get some of these times 3 and times 4 unlocked. But it's something to work for. It's something that I'm going to continue building my squad for. I like to go deep. If I switch up quarterbacks, maybe I'll take these off of them and put different ones on them. And the other one that you have here is, of course, West Coast, and this is more for short to mid routes. And really all these statistics do on West Coast and go deep is it boosts up like route running, your quarterback short and mid accuracy, or if you're doing go deep like this deke accuracy, deep route running, all sorts of things that apply to wide receivers and quarterbacks. You're not really going to want to put West Coast or go deep on your running backs unless you're just trying to hit a threshold. So the tight ends are kind of hybrids for me. Normally I will put a passing chemistry on them because they're going to be going out for a pass more often than not with me, just with my offense. But sometimes if I'm one component away in a like run chemistry, then I'll go ahead and throw my 3rd string tight end on there or whatever just to contribute it to them and get them that tier. So basically between the 2, West Coast and go deep, it's going to depend on your playstyle. I personally prefer go deep. Check out your wide receivers and your quarterbacks, their statistics. So like Lamar Jackson is going to benefit a lot from that throw power because that is one of his biggest areas where he's lacking. So anything I can do to boost that up is going to help him out a lot, again, with his deep accuracy. And then of course it will help out the wide receivers and everything. So if there's a specific player that you do want to boost up overall, go and look at their card, see where they're deficient. Like if, again, with Lamar Jackson with the throw power, if that's where they're lacking, then go deep. That'll help them out more. Check out your wide receivers and all that stuff. And then as the year goes on, we'll have guys that are maxing out statistics, like they'll get 99 this or that. And then you won't want to be using some of these chemistries on them because it's essentially a waste. But we'll go over all that later in the year when that happens. Now, between the 2 running ones, I do prefer zone run. I haven't started to put this on any of my guys yet. The only reason for that is zone run is a little bit more of the elusive stuff. You can see juke, spin, break tackle, more juke, more spin move, all that. Power run is a little more stiff arm, trucking. You got some good blocking stuff. The blocking stuff's all fine for both of them. But my move in Madden is generally to be a little more elusive, more like juking in the field, spinning out of the way of people and all that stuff. I don't like to run people over as much just because it doesn't work as well in Madden. But again, these 2 are my choices for your offensive lineman and your running back, whichever fits your play style more. If you're more of a power runner, then go with power run. If you're more elusive and you like to juke around people, then go with zone run. Now for the defensive side of the ball, we're going to look at Sam Mills here. I don't have any chemistries yet on defense, but it's pretty much the same as it is on offense. You can see here the same unlock. All I have for Sam Mills is ×1 because he hasn't hit that 87 overall threshold yet, so ×2 are going to be down here locked. But it is the same level requirements to unlocks ×2, ×3, and ×4, and all that good stuff. And defense is a lot simpler than offense. You really only have 4 to choose from. You have your typical balanced D, which again, like on offense, a lot of people like to go for at the beginning of the year because it's easier to get that 50 out of 50 on it rather than split it up into multiple like what I was talking about doing on offense. If you're not going to be doing balanced D, then you basically, the only choice you have is choosing between run stuff and pass rush because the only other one is lockdown. Lockdown is obviously what you're going to put on any of your defensive backs, any of your coverage linebackers, guys like that. So the only choice you have to make on defense if you're not doing balanced D is between run stuff and pass rush. Now, choosing between these two, I actually haven't made my decision yet because I want to see a little bit what happens more as Madden progresses with the meta and everything. Right now, pass rushing isn't the best. It's not nearly as good as it was in Madden 20, so I haven't decided. Pass rush was clearly the move in Madden 20. Let's really quickly look at some of the stats. Obviously, 5 and 10, you get +1 power, +1 finesse move, which is pretty big for your pass rushing guys. And then more finesse, more power. There's actually a lot you can boost up in here. Your guys are going to be gods at pass rushing if you do pass rush. And then run stuff, you got more tackling, power, pursuit, block shed, all that good stuff. So it's more of just the run defense. But in general, both of these are very, very good. And if you can get them up to 50, these are really good. These are very good. You got +1 hit power, which is really nice on the run stuff. So actually +2 hit power, +3, +4 hit power. Holy crap, +5 hit power on run stuff. That might be the move just there because of the hit power. If y'all didn't know, hit power is very important for forcing fumbles and all that, which is huge, honestly, in Madden 21. From what I've seen, the dudes seem to fumble a lot. So I don't know. Run stuff might be the way to go. Like I said, I haven't decided between the two. That's going to depend on your play style. If you like to blitz a lot of players and stuff like that, then I would consider going for pass rush. And if you don't like to do that, if you like to hang back and kind of play more pass defense, play more conservatively, then do run stuff. And that +1 hit power, that might be worth putting on someone like a Jamal Adams or someone in the backfield who's already got a crazy high hit power that could just get 97 or whatever hit power. That'd be nasty. But that's basically it for the defensive side of these scheme chemistries. The next one we're going to look at is the physical chemistries, and we're going to jump back over to Lamar Jackson here because I think he's the only one I have them unlocked for. And these are very, very important, but they are very, very expensive. You can see it on here. You've got your team chemistry slot, your scheme chemistry slot, and then this third one here is your physical chemistry slot. Now, I don't think the physical chems, I think you have to be a level 80 to unlock this third slot. I could be wrong about that. I looked on some of my gold players and they don't have this third tier. Maybe you just have to be, I don't know. But the thing that's different this year from Madden 20 is in Madden 20, only power-up players could get this. So only the purple cards that you eventually level up could be able to get this. So this Lamar Jackson last year couldn't have actually gotten this because this is not a power-up. This is just a superstar MVP. So they changed that this year to where any card, as long as they hit the thresholds, can get the physical chemistry. So that's very nice because a lot of times all you needed in Madden 20 was like you hit all the thresholds you needed for the physical chem, but you needed their power up, and their power up could be 100,000 coins or something ridiculous with who knows how much training. So it's very nice they at least gave us this option. So you can see here, just as the same as the other ones, you've got the ×1 available ones here and ×2 that'll unlock at 93 overall. A really quick note about that 93 overall, and this applies to the scheme chems as well with the ×3 and ×4. If you do boost up your player, let's say the threshold here was actually you unlocked it at 90 overall, and I was able to boost Lamar Jackson up to a 90 overall with chemistries and everything, that is not going to matter. I still don't unlock these ×2. It has to be their base overall, okay? It can't be, well, actually, let's say I put him into a power up, that got him to a 90 overall. That would have then unlocked this if the requirement was a 90 overall. I hope that's not confusing the way I said that. Basically, to hit the threshold, you have to hit that threshold with their base overall, not including any chemistry boosts. But really quickly, let's go ahead and look through all of these. They're pretty similar to what they were last year. You have Sprinter, Shaker, Leaper, Brawler, and Acrobat. These ones are a little bit different than the other ones because they only have the ×1 and ×2, so by the end of the year, you can't have some really good dude that has ×4 on him, but you're not going to need it because looking at the right side here, they only go down to the 40 components. So basically, the two that it comes down to between, for me, maybe 3 if you want to be, is going to be Sprinter, Shaker, and Brawler. The other two, Leaper, +1 jump, strength, you do get +1 speed, but the minus change of direction at 40 components is a deal breaker for me. +1 agility, +1 change of direction, -1 excel, -1 strength. I don't know, I don't like the Acrobat either. The jumping and all that just kind of seems a little bit of a waste for me. The Brawler is really what I like to use on my big dudes. There's really no competition here with this one. You get the +1 strength, +1 speed, -1 excel, which doesn't matter with big guys, another +1 strength, minus agility, which doesn't matter with the big guys. You do get the +1 speed again, and then minus excel, -1 jump, minus change of direction, which again, with all the big guys, you just want that +1 strength. The speed doesn't really matter. Really, you're just going with the +1 strength. So really, the two options that you have to choose between, in my opinion, are the Shaker and the Sprinter. So Shaker here, these two are actually, they're pretty good. This change of direction is so important this year that I don't think it's a cut and dry. It was pretty obvious that Sprinter was the best one last year. change of direction is so important this year. I don't know how obvious that is. So you have +1 change of direction at tier 5, which requires 5 components. +1 agility, +1 excel, -1 jump. Don't think jump matters that much. -1 strength, -1 jump, +1 speed at 25. And then the final one you get is -1 strength, +1 excel, +1 change of direction. So that's what you get out of Shaker. And then Sprinter is +1 excel, -1 strength, -1 agility, +1 speed, +1 excel, +1 jump, -1 change of direction, -1 strength, -1 agility, +1 speed, -1 change of direction. So the difference between Sprinter and Shaker is Sprinter, you get +2 speed. Shaker, you only get +1 speed, but you get the +2 change of direction, I believe I said. And then the other big thing that you notice on Sprinter is that change of direction actually gets -2. So these are a bit of a trade-off. They're not just straight good ones that are awesome to have on your team. There's a little bit of a trade-off. You lose some stuff as you upgrade these. So the point is that is speed more important than 1 strength, 1 agility, and 1 change of direction? Some people will say yes. Some people will say no. Depends a lot on your players. As we get further in the year, we'll inevitably get a Tyreek Hill with 99 speed. Don't put Sprinter on him. There's no reason to, because you can't go above 99 speed. At least as far as we know for this year, you can't go above 99 in statistics, so don't do that. Now, it's going to be kind of hard. I don't really know. I feel like change of direction matters more than speed. Maybe not more. They're probably about equal. But Shaker doesn't take away from speed. You'll notice it gives you +1 speed. Sprinter does give you 2 speed, but it takes away 2 from change of direction. I feel like change of direction is important enough to where I might go with Shaker this year. And again, like, I'm not even looking at these other ones. I don't really care. Change of direction and speed. Speed is still king. Speed is still the most important. But is speed so much more important than change of direction that you can take away 2 change of directions? I don't know. All right, that's something to think about. Change of direction is super important, especially on defense this year. If you like to use her a lot, it's just so important. That's going to be an ongoing debate, I'm sure. Shaker's kind of where I'm leaning towards right now, but we'll see as we go. I said I was done talking about stuff that I don't know about, and that's not entirely true, because the last one that I want to talk about is kind of coaching chems. Coaching chems we did go over a little bit here with John Harbaugh. The one that I want to specifically talk about, and we can't talk about yet because we don't know if it's in the game, it hasn't been confirmed, is of course John Madden. If you didn't play Madden 20, John Madden is a coach that you can get. He's a collectible, and then you can upgrade him. And typically what he does, I'm sure we'll get this confirmed, or we'll never hear about it in the next week or so. He usually upgrades your entire team. So like you'll get a upgrade for him, and he'll upgrade every passing statistic on everybody on the team, whether they're on offense, defense, whatever it may be. He's a very, very good card to have. The problem with these other coaches is they look like they only upgrade schemes and then that specific team, like only Ravens players. So if you're not doing a theme team, usually John Madden will be the way to go. So we're not going to talk too much about that because we don't know if he's in the game yet. Typically, he's very, very expensive to upgrade. So we will see about all that. Like I said, I'll make an updated video in a week or two when we have a little more details, and we'll kind of see what the deal is with the John Madden token. All right, so that is about it. That was a lot of stuff to go over, and we don't even know all. We know maybe 80% of it, so there's a lot still more for us to learn about chemistry. So I will, like I said, make another video when we get all of the details, and then again later in the year for all you Christmas folks that are coming in that don't know anything about Madden. There's a lot. It's not very simple. There's a lot of people's opinions that go into it. Which statistic is more important? Is it worth it all going into this? Just boost your player from 89 to 90 overall. There's a lot that goes into it, so feel free to ask me any questions down below in the comments about how to boost this player. What chemistry should I use on this player? Should I do a theme team? Whatever it may be, feel free to comment down below and let me know any questions you have. I hope this did clear up any confusion that you had. If you already understood a lot of it, hopefully it reinforced it or reminded you of a couple of things. Chemistries are always a lot of fun to work with. It's a lot of variation that you can put on your team, really make them the best that they can be, so definitely make sure you understand it so you can take advantage. But that is it for now, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Like this video if you did enjoy it. Hit the bell icon so you can know as soon as my videos go out. Thank y'all so much for watching, and as always, I will see y'all in the next one.